Morning, everybody. It's Mark Westcott here, and with Dane Jansen, special guest for today. G'day, Dane. How are you?
G'day, Mark. G'day, everybody.
It's good to have you here, Dane. And look, I'll just start off by saying, anyone that's watching this, if you've got any questions as we're going through today, feel free to make comments underneath the video in Facebook. I think you've got to click on something to get authority to do it, but just make any comments, any questions you want to ask, and we'll be having a look at the sidebar as we go through and hopefully answer those for you. But it's Monday morning, and the whole reason we've put this together is to start the week off well, bit of motivation, bit of positive thinking, and so on. And Dane, you've been doing this for a long time too, Dane, from Positive Dynamics, and you've been involved in these thought processes and so on for a while. So do you want to just talk about, Dane, what it is that you do in regard to on a daily basis, on a weekly basis? What do you do to keep yourself motivated, positive, express gratitude and so on? Do you involved in meditation? What sort of things do you do to keep your head in a good spot?
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. No, look, as Mark, you said, we have been involved in this sort of thought process for a long time. So I actually got right into it now. Obviously, years of knowing you, but a lot of where I've sort of continued that from is through audio books and reading a lot of different sort of contexts. But a big influence for me was Napoleon Hill. There's a book years ago, Think and Grow Rich. It was fantastic. Really good book. But a lot of it is about that mindset of how all of these really successful people, they all had this similar mindset of making sure when they're waking up every day, they're putting considering their gratitudes, what they're grateful for every day, making sure that they're fit and healthy, which was a really big part of it, and particularly for me, daily exercise, those sorts of things, always really helps with making sure your mindset is sharp, where you want to be, and happy. And also, having really good supportive family around too, that is always really helpful. So, they're the sort of things that I'll get up in the morning first thing, have a cuddle with the kids, have a coffee, do some exercise, set the goals for the day, what I plan on achieving, and it's just really having that gratitude for the world and what's out there to really absorb.
Absolutely. And I know you subscribe to the 3 big rocks theory, don't you? Do you start off the day and you write down your 3 big wins for the day?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a team of 15 people that work with us, and we're really strong in that philosophy for those guys as well. It makes you very productive in the way you attack things. So you've got your big tasks that you want to get done. So they're the first thing that you 3 big rocks, jump on those, get them knocked out of the way. So it's number one, they're the big tasks that are going to sort of, take some time, take some effort. So you're fresh, energetic when you're attacking them, but also gives you this really great sense of achievement once you've done them. So then those smaller tasks you can really get right into, and you've already got that sense of accomplishment, which from a happiness and energy perspective, when you can knock over a task, it really does just give you that sense of achievement and empowerment.
Well, that's right. I remember when I was playing football after school at university, and somebody once said to me, Mark, first thing every day, just find the biggest bloke on the field and just go and crash into him, tackle the big guy first. And the philosophy was, if you attack the big guy first, everyone else after that is easy. And
absolutely,
that was one way to look at it. But I mean, it's actually a great philosophy. Is just make sure you head for the biggest rocks at the start of the day while you've got full energy, full motivation, enthusiasm, and so on. And there's so much of a sense of accomplishment, isn't there, if you can knock over the most important things first, instead of, because there's a great risk of being caught up in majoring in the minors. In other words, you get caught up doing all the little things, answering emails and all that sort of stuff. So if you can just work out what the 3 big rocks are and focus on those, really sets the day up well. Now, also, do you want to talk about, and I think Vanessa said you have an exercise you use with the kids in the afternoon as well too. A positive focus.
Yeah, so we do what we're grateful for. So best part of your day. So in the mornings when we're sitting down having breakfast, coffees, those sorts of things. It's what we're grateful for. So the kids starting the day with that grateful mindset also.
Yeah.
But then as we're sitting around the dinner table, it's always what was 3 best parts of your day. So essentially we all go around the table, have a bit of a chat. Everyone gets a chance to ask some questions and whatnot, but essentially you get to tell everybody the 3 best parts of your day. So we all have ups and downs in every day. That's just life. But if you focus on the down parts of the day, you're not going to stay energetic. You're not going to stay positive. So we've taken the approach that we always talk about the 3 best parts of the day, and it just really gets you thinking. What did you achieve throughout the day that you're happy with? Even to the point you might be having an incredible meal. That may be one of the best parts of your day, or you've just engaged with a new client. Any of these sort of things. The kids always come up with great things. It's always around spending time with their friends, or achieving something at school. So getting a grade on one of the spelling assessments or whatnot that they've got. So it's really a great process to just keep their mind on what they've done and what is the best parts of their day, rather than dwelling on the negatives.
That's fantastic, Dane, and I really commend you and Vanessa for incorporating your kids in doing that. I want to give a call out to Jeannie too. Jeannie's just sent a message to us to say good morning. Hi, Jeannie.
Okay.
But the fact you're doing that with your kids, Dane, is just fantastic, because that's setting them up with habits which they'll take through their life as well too. And I wish this was sort of stuff that we'd learned at school. There's so many things I've seen. Somebody was posting on Facebook this morning about a friend of mine over in Chicago, and their young child is reading the 4 Agreements, and the book, the four Agreements, and I just went, wow. And she was talking about how fantastic the kid's attitude is, the questions he's asking, the way he's thinking about things, and so on. And once again, I was just thinking, why isn't that book compulsory reading in schools? The 4 Agreements are just such powerful things, and they've helped me look at things differently as well. So interesting, and so I'm commending you on what you're doing with the kids. That's great.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, no, look, and it works really well for us, and that is one of our biggest things, is looking at what society offers to the kids through school. And it is really one of these things that I want the kids to grow up happy with a great mindset. So if we can embed that in them now, it's only positive futures.
That word you've used it a few times now, Dane, mindset. It's such a powerful word, and it's not just about positive thinking, and it's not just about gratitude and so on, but having the mindset for what you want to achieve in life is a really powerful thing. Is sort of determining what direction you want to take, the sort of person you want to be, and so on. I think is very important. So tell me, you use these some of the tools, and I know some of the tools that we talk about, the things that I've picked up at Strategic Coach over the years and so on. You're using those with your team members too. So do you want to talk about how the team members have responded to some of these concepts, and what are the results, or not necessarily talking about monetary results, but what are some of the results in the way your team have responded?
Yeah. So we use definitely the positive focus. Any team meeting that we have, we always start our team meetings with that level of positivity. So everyone's coming in with their positive focus. So on your weekly team meeting, we sit down and go around the table, or while we've been in lockdown, even doing it
around the Zoom.
It is, and it's just the concept of being able to keep everyone in that happy mood and positivity. We've seen so many different benefits and values from that, and the likes of productivity of the team, just the way that they will attack a task, coming to us with you always have things that one of the team doesn't have an answer for straight on. and they may come to you with a question, but we've always implemented the concept of come to us with a couple of ideas that you have instead of just oh, here's my problem, fix it for me. We've always
empowered solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. We've always empowered them and said, look, don't come to me with the problem. You're a very clever person. You've got some great ideas. Come to me with a couple of solutions, and we can discuss it and work through whether they're suitable or whatnot. And 95% of the time, they've already come up with the suitable solution to the issue, and it just really empowers them to be more productive and more effective. So we talk about in the business, effective versus efficient. You can be very efficient in a lot of things, but when you really empower these guys with a lot of positivity and that empowering mindset, they become really effective and they can actually get the task done efficiently, but just with the next level of customer service, without having delays and issues that they have to come and bring to you all the time. They just get their job done. It makes such a difference. And
empowerment. Look, absolutely, and empowerment's such a positive thing, Dane, and certainly I think people, your team members need to feel safe, and they need to feel safe that they can stuff up every now and again by making a decision without having to come to you all the time. And that's a great philosophy that never come to us with a problem. Always turn up with two solutions and talk about it. Don't just turn up and say I can't do it. Changes the mindsets as well. Another one of the comments on our Facebook, love mindset and growth mindset, got me thinking about. We've talked about this before, Dane. Two things: the 40-person future. Number one is starting to think about the sort of people you want to hang out with, people you want to mix with, the people you want as clients, the people you want to work with, and to sort of separate or to I guess squeeze out the people that are not positive influences in your life and so on. And the other thing, apart from the 40-person future, is it's a big one for me, is always looking for people whose future is bigger than their past. And another thing from strategic coach Dan Sullivan taught years ago was, and wrote a book on, was always be looking for people who still have a lot, who aren't just living in the past. And many times we read, we connect with people and all they do is talk about all the wonderful things they did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and so on. But we need to be looking for people who still see growth and still see a future with opportunity. People who are creating value still, not just consuming. And it's something I've learned a lot about over the last few years, is watching people who are just happy to consume and watching people who are happy to contribute and to create value for people. And we always need to be looking for the value creators. I just find that an important part in life.
Yeah, I agreed 100%. And as you said, with the reference to your 40 people future and those sorts of concepts, as I mentioned before, with my passion for the Napoleon Hill and his concept and the people that he talked about, and it was always that concept. And it's not a new philosophy. No, it's been around for hundreds of years. It's a very old book, and books older than that have that same philosophy. Looking forward to the future, looking for that growth, looking for people that are on that same trajectory that you can really, build off each other's energy, help each other out. Everyone has got something to give, even if there is massively successful people that are on a huge growth trajectory. And you may not be at their level. You've got something to offer them. Everyone's got something to offer, and I think that's really important to see that, and for people in themselves to know that they do have lots to offer, and that's what we offer the team. As I said, with the empowerment, it's just a different level of connection that you have with these guys, and when they come to you, instead of coming in that mopey drudgery, I've got a problem, they come to you in a happy, positive manner, and essentially they've got this energy that's going to get them through.
Yep. No, fantastic, Dane. Jeannie, again, thanks for your comments. Life changes when you express gratitude every morning, and that's absolutely true. I think I've spoken before on this program about my 5 gratitudes I do each day. One is for family and friends. One is in regard to my health. One's in regard to where I live. I think about being grateful for where I live these days. The 4th one is I look for a past experience, something that's happened in the past that I'm eternally grateful for. And the 5th one, and I do this each day, is to go, okay, what's out there in the future that I haven't even imagined yet? I'm just eternally grateful for the fact that there's things that are going to happen in my life that haven't happened yet, but it's just exciting to know that good stuff is ahead, and that keeps me going each day as well. So thanks, Jeannie, for your little comment there in regard to making sure you show gratitude every morning. Of course, that's a habit of yours too, isn't it, Dane? That you're doing that with the kids and so on, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is one of those things. You do have your different things you're grateful for: your health, your family, opportunities. I'm always grateful for the opportunities that are out there, and access to different people, different ideas. And Mark, as I mentioned to you off camera, there's access to the really smart people that we have today, via technology and those sort of things, which helps me do my job, with investing and running our business. It's the likes of Ray Dalio, Warren Buffett, these guys that we all have access to, that they have those same philosophies, very positive people, forward thinking, and it really, really helps us do our job, particularly positive dynamics with our investments. But it's really a really big thing to be grateful for that, and grateful for the access that we have, and grateful for that forward thinking.
Sure. The other thing is you can't be grateful and negative at the same time.
No, very good.
So I want everyone try this. So think about something you're really grateful for. So just find something in your life that you're really grateful for. Now, see how that makes you feel. Now, see if you can be negative at the same time, and you can't. That's the beauty of gratitude, is that all the negativity in your mind disappears when you're focusing on gratitude. Now, I mentioned before too, Dane, that I've been looking at some of the strategic coach. Shannon Waller was the person that got me excited about doing these on a weekly basis, and she jumped in on the first couple, which was great. And Shannon's like, second beyond Dan and Babs at Strategic Coach as their husband and wife. Anyway, this is one of the things that Dan posted today, and that is, what is one mess that, if cleaned up, will increase your confidence the most? So I'd like to throw this out to people who are watching, and Dane, to you as well. What's something in your life? Now, a mess is an obligation you have where you haven't allocated sufficient commitment to solve it. So it could be tax, getting your tax done. It could be cleaning up a room. I mean, it could be as simple as that. Messes could be a relationship. It could be you've had an argument with someone and it's still sort of lingering out there because you haven't solved the dispute. So it can be personal. They can be business messes. You've say you've got a tax obligation. You owe some bills, whatever it is. So what's a mess that, if you clean it up, will increase your confidence the most? Because what happens with messes in your life? Messes are like things that just hover. They like hover over your head. They're like a cloud, and they are in your past. Messes are all created from your past. And so it's like putting a chain around your body and there's someone behind you holding you back. So you can't move forward as well as you can because you're surrounded by these messes that are sort of dragging you back, because that's where they were created. And if you can identify, first thing, you can't make progress until you tell the truth. So the first thing is, be honest about what are the messes in your life, what are the things that are still holding you back because they're wasting your time, energy, and resources. And let's throw it to you, Dane. What is the one mess that, if you cleaned up, would increase your confidence the most? Is there something in your life?
I've got two messes. two messes. So number one, and Mark, you and I have discussed this on numerous occasions, so you'll find it quite amusing that it's still a mess, is my emails. I'm really, really bad at having email filters and those sorts of things. I've got thousands of emails that I just grab the important one, dismiss the rest. But there is this big amount of emails there. And anyone that ever needs to help me out and jump into my emails, they're always appalled. Oh my goodness, how have you got so many emails? It's in the back of my mind, but look, it is one of those things that always plays on your mind a touch. And the second thing is, cleaning up mess at home. It's with two young kids, you accumulate a lot of things over the years with presents and toys and things they grow out of, and they just sort of get jammed in cupboards to the point where you're running out of space to jam things in cupboards. So that's sort of the two things that if you can clear up those sorts of messes, my life would be so much easier.
Well, I've told you before, there's a program called Sane Later, SANELATER, and I find it fantastic. Like I have it on my email, on my Outlook, and it sort of learns your behaviour, and it learns spam type emails, or also if you drag an email down into the the Sane Later or the Sane black hole, so to speak, you'll never see you'll never see the ones again if they go into the black hole. And Sane Later, it's like pushing them into another room, so that the ones that are in your primary email inbox are just the ones that are important.
Yeah.
Now, please do not put me in the black hole one, okay, Dane?
No,
but I mean,
stay in the inbox.
But I mean that is life-saving stuff for a lot of people. I look at as you might say, you look at an email box and there's like 200 unread emails, and I think, how can you get through the day with all that stress and pressure, knowing that those things need to be read? Where if they're deleted or hidden, life is so much simpler. But no, look, that's interesting. So thanks for sharing yours. Look, my mess is here I am. I'm going to tell the truth here. I need to lose some weight. My confidence, my energy will improve, both of them, if I can actually focus on dropping some weight. So there you go. I said it here. It's embarrassing as that is in front of everyone. So I've now said it in front of lots of people, and so there's a commitment there.
Absolutely.
So that's a good question. So let me just find another one that I'd like to share that Dan's posted, and there you go. Which is the general question: what interferes with your confidence? So what's happening in your life at the moment that's holding back your confidence? So we've talked about messes. Is there anything else? And yes, Jean, I know. Sorry, Jean's just made a comment that she's going to be following me up on my weight regime.
Someone keep you accountable already.
I've got two people now I'm accountable to. So, is there anything else, Dane, that interferes with your confidence?
I guess the one thing that does, and I think this is probably a timing perspective with everything that we're facing at the moment, with the way the world looks and whatnot. But the uncertainty around the world and what the future looks like, I guess, is particularly in our line of business, being financial planning and investments. There is that level of a concern for confidence. Where we've had a really, really great track record. We've come through the stock market downturn in a really strong position, but then just that uncertainty of what the world looks like moving forward does sort of give you a bit of a knock of your confidence, knowing where we're going to go, the confidence in that. So again, this is where I really rely on, and so grateful for the resources that are out there and the really smart people that we can leverage on.
Yep. So Dane, one last thing. Let's talk about one of the tools we use, and it's the strategic coach tool. We'll give them a plug, that we use at each of the workshops that we do, which is the Moving Future, where we look at what's happened in the last 90 days, what's given you confidence in the last 90 days. sorry, what's happening right now? What are the things that are giving you the most confidence right now, and what's coming up in the next 90 days? In other words, what are the things that you're most excited about and giving you energy and motivation? And so that's an exercise we do, the past, the present, and the future, and then from that, don't we? As we talk about, we then go through and work out, okay, what are the 5 things that we really need to take action on in the next 90 days? And the reason we do it that way, and the reason it was designed that way, is if you go back and look at what you've achieved, in other words, just the progress that you've made in the last 90 days, straight away you get a lot of confidence, don't you? Because there's always a tendency to focus on what you haven't done rather than what you have done, in life. And probably people that are watching this, that's not the case, but I'm going to tell you, for a lot of people out there, they focus on, the glass is half empty and what they have not achieved. So, and we talked about this earlier, having the positive focus session with your team members every meeting, every time you catch up with them, say, okay, what's working, guys, and helping them focus on the progress they're making. Just gives you a lot more confidence when you're focusing on the next 90 days and say, okay, well, what are we going to achieve here, doesn't it? You use that a lot, I know.
Yeah, we do use that a lot. And it is, we use those a lot in training sessions. So when we do a monthly training with the team, Vanessa does with our advisor team quite regularly, and we go through, and it is really about, putting into perspective what has been working, where we see those opportunities, currently and moving forward. So there's a comment that just popped up about going to be smart objectives, which is 100% it. To be to have that positivity, to go through, look at what has happened in the past, look at what you're doing well now, and what gives you that confidence to continue to move forward, and then setting those smart goals to move forward. Making them specific. What's the acronym?
Specific, measurable. Yes. I hope they make another specific, measurable, and timely is the last one.
That's it.
One was put up. That comment came up after I said I was going to focus on my health and lose some weight. So by an anonymous Facebook user. So thank you. But that is true, because in all our coaching stuff, we make sure that people are. You have to be able to take a photo of the result, don't you? It has to be specific and measurable. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to get fit," or "I'm going to lose weight." You've got to, or I'm going to increase my turnover for next month. You have to say, I'm going to, by this time next month, my turnover will have achieved X dollars. So you need to be able to see a photo of what it looks like.
Yeah, that's it, and that's where that tees in really well when we're doing going through the moving future, and being able to put something to that moving future. It plays really well together. So you're not saying, I want to be a billionaire tomorrow, right? You've got the the concept. You're making it smart. You're making it realistic. You're actually putting something in place that you can take a photo of, and it works really well.
Yeah. So if whoever made that comment can remind me what the A, the R, and the T stands for, then I'd appreciate that. When you first put it up, I thought, I know what that means. I got the specific, measurable, and the time frame, but
specific and measurable. I can't remember the A. R is realistic and time frame.
Yeah, and that's Jeannie telling me that she heard what I said. So thanks, Jeannie. Thanks for watching. Anyway, what would you like to finish off with, Dane? It's been a great and interesting session with you today. So any closing thoughts in regard to maybe people who are watching in regard to what they can do in regard to gratitude, positive focus and so on, or in regard to the 4 agreements, which I mentioned that someone had talked about this morning?
Yeah, look, as I said, I always start my day, with feeling gratitude, putting into perspective, what I have for the day, the big rocks, and then what I'm grateful for to be able to move forward. So I think that the gratitude is a really big part of it. Keeping your mind open, keeping a positive mindset around the way that we attack life, and And you know, on that 4 agreements, I can't remember them off the top of my head, but the one that does always stand out to me is, you know,
do your best.
Do your best, and word.
Don't assume.
Don't assume.
Don't take things personally.
Don't take things personally.
And always be careful with your words.
So look,
meaning mostly to yourself. Be careful with your words, not just to other people, but the words that you say to yourself.
And that's exactly it. You know, if you've got a positive mindset, you know, you're grateful for everything that happens. You know, a lot of those things just come naturally. You know, you don't take offense to what people say. You know, someone may be having a bad day or whatnot, and you just don't take it on board. It's up to them to be having the bad day. It's not up to you. So I always think that they're really.
That's right. They don't need to dump it onto you.
Yeah, that's right. So
you don't need to give them permission to dump that onto you. That's right. No, they were life-changing when I first discovered those 4 agreements. That look, they are really great things to live by. If you can understand that when people go off and say crazy things and get upset, it's normally something to do with what's happening in their life more than it is what's happening in your life. So you know, you just can't take that personally, and you know, just feel for the people that are going through it, and hope that they get over whatever's making them angry effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess, you know, with the world we're living in at the moment, I'm sure that there's more of that out there at the moment. So, you know, segments like this are fantastic for people to be able to really, you know, get out of their comfort zone, watch something like this, and you know, with the economy and doing what it's doing and whatnot. But you know, there's always positivity in the world. So you know, just to be grateful that you are living a healthy life, where you're living, those things. It really changes the way that you can attack the situation that we're in.
Yeah. Hey, Dane, look, thanks for being with us this morning, and whoever's watching and whoever watches in the future might be watching this later. Thanks for joining us. I just, I'm actually grateful that Gabriel, who helps me, came up with this idea of doing a weekly positivity broadcast, so to speak, and it was just such a great idea, and I've run with it. I've had some great people on. Dane, thanks for you for being on today. You've contributed beautifully, and yeah, and I think it's just such a great way to start the week. So until next week, Dane, thanks for your contribution, and catch up with everyone again next week. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Cheers. See you guys.
Cheers.